We have some big news for Brampton residents. If you have a rental property or if you have a second dwelling where you have a tenant in there, you should watch this full video and learn about what has just changed as of January 1st. My name is Mike Carpino, and weekly you're going to get 2 videos from me that are covering news articles, first-time home buyer tips, and just trying to navigate you through the Greater Toronto Area real estate market. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please subscribe, like this video, and hit me in the comment section down below with any questions or inquiries that you may have. All right, so today we are going to be going over this article on stories.com. And the title here is Brampton launches landlord licensing program to crack down on illegal rentals. So the pilot program went live on January 1st, and it requires those who own and operate a property containing between 1 and 4 rental units to obtain a license. If you are in the Greater Toronto Area, or if you're in Brampton specifically, you would know that there's a ton of rental properties, especially with the home prices the way they are. A lot of people are trying to subsidize those mortgage costs with having a second dwelling. And a second dwelling could be anything from a basement apartment. Some of the residents in Brampton may even have a second dwelling that is in the rear of the yard if they've got approval from the city for that. So let's get into the article here, and then we will further dive into the finer details. The city of Brampton kickstarted the year with the launch of a new pilot program designed to curb illegal rentals. The residential rental licensing, so the RRL pilot program, which began on January 1st, was actually announced in March of 2023. Now that the pilot is in effect, those who own or operate a property containing between 1 and 4 rental units are required to obtain a license. Licensing costs are only $300 per year, with fees right now that are being waived during the first 3 months of the pilot, and they'll be discounted 50% between April 1st and June 30th of this year, according to the press release from the city. Registered second units, unregistered residential units, and additional residential units will be included in this program. The release also detailed. Those who fail to adhere to the city's new licensing requirements will face a fine. As you can see on the diagram here below, this is going to cover wards 1, 7, 3, 4, and 5 in Brampton. And the reason why these particular wards are targeted, it's the highest amount of call volume that they get from the tenants that are actually living in these properties. So they're focusing on this small portion of Brampton, at least during this pilot program, so they can figure out where all of these issues are coming from, why they are being called, and a lot of them are because these basement apartments may not be fully suitable for the tenants that are in there. Maybe they're not fire safe, maybe they don't have proper egress in the windows, but let's get into the article a little bit further here. The pilot is currently applicable to rental properties, owners, and operators in wards 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7, like we mentioned. Rowan Santos, back in March, explained that the choice to focus on these particular wards would be because they have highest concentration of service requests related to property standard violations. Santos has said a program like this one is long overdue and responds to the uptick in rental units, garden suites, lodging homes that are all in these wards in Brampton, as well as declining quality of these particular accommodations. We've received a significant increase in complaints related to property standards and parking, particularly in 2-unit dwellings. So what they mean here is if it's a full home, generally what we're seeing is a basement apartment is rented out separately than the upper 2 floors. So when you have multiple families that are living in homes and you have some of these smaller driveways, you don't necessarily have access to additional parking. You may have to register your vehicle, and you'll get 30 days out of the year, but that's not nearly enough if you actually live in a basement apartment and you have a vehicle that you need somewhere to park it. We've received a significant increase in complaints related to property standards and parking in 2-unit dwellings and illegal lodging houses. Enforcement faces challenges addressing the complaints, such as the main difficulty contacting these property owners, Santos has mentioned, after the RRL program was approved. In an update published more recently on the website, Santos has also said that the RRL program aims to ensure that landlords are compliant with all applicable laws and regulations, that rental units are safe and habitable for the tenants, and that the property standards are upheld. She added that the program also serves as a critical mechanism to make sure that the fire code requirements are implemented, as properties would be subject to random inspections as well as escalating fines for repeat violators. So now that we've gone over the article here, if you do own a rental property in one of these wards, you would have received documentation or a letter in the mail from the city letting you know that this pilot project was going to begin on January 1st. If you did not receive one and this is the first you're hearing of it, you may want to contact the city to make sure that you aren't going to get a fine because you haven't paid your dues for this particular pilot program. Now, if you're a landlord that has a second unit or a third unit in your property, not only is it important for the quality of your home to maintain it, it's important if you have a tenant that you're taking care of the offerings that you are providing for them. So if you have a basement apartment you are renting out, you're going to be getting an arm and a leg for rent nowadays. In Brampton, you're talking $1,500 to $1,700 for a basement apartment, and that's with a parking space. But you want to make sure that you have fire codes covered. You want to make sure you have proper in and out access for these tenants. You don't want to be putting somebody in a basement apartment or in a secondary unit that is not fit for anyone to live. I understand the mortgages can be high at the moment, but you want to make sure that you are complying with all of the rules and regulations that the cities require to have a secondary unit. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think they should implement this not only for the rest of Brampton, but for the rest of Ontario? Do you think landlords should be held more accountable and have to pay a yearly fee to have these rental units? I know there's a lot of people right now who don't own a home and they're very frustrated that people will own multiple homes, or you have 3 or 4 properties as a landlord. And I understand that's a little bit difficult to hear, but we can't control what people can buy if they can afford it. We can have regulations like we see here that affect the landlords in different ways to make sure that they have the highest standards in their rental offerings. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Mike Carpino. If you like this content, don't forget to like the channel and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.